Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Teacher Circle. Our new day is Sunday because during the week it is just really hectic, and so I have moved the official Teacher Circle day to Sunday at 5 p.m. Hey, classy, sassy teacher. Today, I am going to be talking about thriving virtually. And it's really going to be focused a lot towards parents. But the great thing, teachers, is in listening to these tips that I have for parents, you might want to ask yourself, am I making these type of resources available for parents to be able to really support their children during this time? Because I know we want to thrive as educators during this new season of education, but parents definitely want to thrive as well. They really want to feel a little bit more in control. And so today I am going to be giving 5 tips. Not going to keep you long. You guys know, like always, if you have questions, this is a very interactive type of situation. So you can always put your questions in the comment section below or in the question box, and I'll be sure to answer them. So just a little bit of background about myself. My name is Monet Mike. I am a 4th grade teacher here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am departmentalized this year. I've always been departmentalized 6 out of the 7 years that I've taught, and I am in mathematics. So that is a mouthful, but that's just a little bit about me. I have experience in both public, private, and charter. I've tried them all. And I just think it helps me to be a well-rounded individual as well as educator. So I'm not going to waste you guys' time. I am going to sip some water because my mouth always get dry. But I just want to give some tips again that I think will help parents and teachers. Like I said, maybe in listening to these things, you might say, I don't think I established this. Let me make sure I do this, and maybe this will bring a little bit more comfort to the parents that I serve, because education in 2020 is very much so a service-driven occupation, right? And so the first tip that I want to suggest to parents, I am a parent. I have a kindergartner and a 1st grader. It is very much so kicking my butt. I have a dream team. Monday through Friday, I have a dream team in my house. My mom moved in with me back in March. She helps my kindergartner, and my adopted mom, she comes in the mornings to work with my daughter who is in 1st grade. So if it was not for them, I would probably have to be unemployed. I would not be able to work and service my own children. So I think that helps me to be a little bit more empathetic with my parents, because I know there are a lot of parents that I serve that either have put their children in daycares. A lot of the local daycares have like daycare for older children where they monitor their digital learning. And then some parents have chosen to either switch occupations so that they can be present during the day, or some sadly have had to quit their jobs because they did not have family support. So these are all things I try to keep in mind, so that in those moments where I'm frustrated, maybe I'm frustrated with parent involvement, maybe I'm frustrated with the turn-in rate of my assignments, I try to remind myself that, especially with me teaching 4th grade, the support in the home just might not be there, or maybe this is a rocky week. I can say that I have some parents that have COVID right now, so they're not able to really help their learner because sadly they are trying to recover. So it is very much so a pandemic. So I just wanted to kind of start with that information and just help you put on the hat that I try to wear, and being sympathetic, empathetic, that's the empathetic for my parents and for my students. So the first thing, parents, that I would suggest that you do is at the beginning of the school year, always express your support to the teacher. Let that teacher know that you appreciate their service and that you want to partner with them. We can't do it all by ourselves. Teachers, we know we are limited. We can't go inside of that home and say press enter or go to Google Classroom. It has to be motivation within the child, and it also has to be the support of the parent. So again, parents, I would highly recommend that you let that teacher know day one, hi, my name is so-and-so, my child is so-and-so. We recognize this is not normal, but we're going to make the best and we're going to support, you with educating our child. The second thing, parents, that I would really encourage you to do, and again, teachers, you can send these tips to your parents, maybe in your weekly newsletter. Make sure that your learner is in a atmosphere that is as geared to learning as possible. Maybe it is a corner in their bedroom. Maybe it's at the kitchen table where they can sit up straight and just really try to be mindful of the distractions. I can't have my children anywhere near the living room. If my children are learning in the living room, it's just not going to work. They're going to want to play games and do puzzles and things of that and other things of that nature. So I had to be very strategic. Even with them being partnered with an adult, I still wanted to make sure that their environment promoted them to focus. As well as when I am teaching, if I know that a student is in a atmosphere that may not be conducive, then sometimes I will contact the parent and say, your child is doing well, but I think maybe if they tried A, B, and C, maybe they'll focus a little bit more. Because sometimes the parent doesn't know unless us teachers contact them, because again, some of them may be working. So it really is like last week I gave the analogy about the football team. Like the child is very much so the football player. They're running the plays, right? And only they can really do what they need to do. And the teacher is a coach and the parent is the assistant coach. Like, we all have to be doing our part in order to get to the field goal. No, I'm not like 100% a football fan, but a lot of times when I have boy students, I have to put stuff in football analogies. So sometimes it just overflows. So again, number one, support. Express your support of the teacher. And number two, make sure your learner is in an environment that best suits them. The third thing I'm going to say, and teachers, this is where you can step in, make sure that you have some type of weekly checklist that you can sit down with your learner and look at. So for my kindergartner, his teacher does a phenomenal job on Mondays. She sends me a assignments weekly sheet. And I think I showed this on my page last year during the spring, how I had a daily checklist so parents would know the assignments that the child should be doing each day. And the reason why this is so helpful, again, we don't know the situation of the home. So even if that parent worked in the morning, when they get off at 5 or 6, they can pull their child to the side and say, hey, today you're supposed to do this, this, and this. Show it to me. And that's how you can help. And I'm talking to the teachers. Teachers, this is how you can help parents to be involved without having to really be like standing over their child's head. Something as simple as a weekly assignment sheet really does make a difference, which ties to the next tip, which is tip number 4. I'm jumping right on in there, guys. Parents, have an incentive. If your child does what they're supposed to do, and yes, again, my children are 5 and 6, so incentives really, really work in this house. I let them take accountability and ownership of their learning. They check off as they do assignments so that they're in partnership with me and I'm in partnership with the teacher. But it just helps them to be more mindful and accountable and also build routine. Teachers will tell you routine is crucial. And even doctors tell you, like, children thrive when there is organization and when there is structure and when there's routine. They actually feel safe. Okay, and so when children feel safe, that automatically connects to the SEL, their social emotional learning, that also supports, just them being as healthy as possible. So again, with that weekly checklist, making sure they're doing their daily assignments, it's easy for parents to put their hand on. I usually print it and put it in the front of my child's binder. I was looking for it because I thought it was in here, but I literally print it every week and put it on the front, and we just go assignment by assignment daily. And when he completes his assignments, I go to the refrigerator and I circle all the great things he's done. I give him his praise, and then he gets his incentive. Now, I'm going to put a pause right there for a moment. If you saw yesterday, I had like this very attitude-filled picture just from some of the experiences that I get with my fourth graders. A lot of times they make excuses and they say they can't do things when I know they can do things, or, oh, I'm so tired, this is so long. My son, I do not approve of this, but this is what the county has decided to do. My kindergartner is on the computer from 8:30 till about 2:45 all day with a lunch break, but he's on it all day, subject by subject. And he's like, I'm so tired, mommy, I don't want to do this. And then once at the end of the day, we go over his assignments, I make sure they're done. I'm like, great job, guy, you did all your work. What do you want your incentive to be? Do you want a treat or do you want tablet time? He's been on the Chromebook all day. My son more than likely will choose a tablet. So that's how I know a lot of this fatigue that children be showing, it's all selective. It's selective memory, it's selective like motivation, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I just want to put that little plug in there because a lot of this, the kids know what they're doing. Sometimes these kids are manipulating the situation for their gain, but it is what it is. And the fifth thing that I would encourage parents to do is whatever system that the teacher is using to give feedback for assignments, stay on top of it. I personally like to grade or update grades weekly, and I do that, number one, so that students know Miss Mike isn't playing. I want my work done. I also need to see how you're doing and how well you're understanding so I can form my small groups and compose my lessons. So like I'm very much so going off of what they're showing me, with keeping the curriculum pacing guide in the back of my mind. But I update grades weekly, and then as a teacher, what I do is I go to Class Dojo and I just let parents know, hey, I have updated grades in Infinite Campus. Feel free to look at them. Anything less than a 75, that is not a test. Please have your student resubmit. Like, I encourage them to go back to the assignment and to retry after, looking at their notes and re-looking at the live lessons and things of that nature. So parents, take advantage of opportunities like that. I would recommend that parents sit down with their child and check the progress with the child so that the child can see, man, I've been making straight 45s. What's going on with me? I know I'm better than this. Or, wow, you're doing a wonderful job. You're making 90s and 100s. You definitely get it. Like, make sure your child knows that you are monitoring them. Even if you can't, again, be like straight on the back of their head every single day of every hour during virtual instruction. Just doing those simple things like checking their daily progress, and then at the end of every week, checking their grades to see how they're performing. That way, progress reports will not be a surprise to you. This way, when you have the opportunity to talk to your teacher, you could be more specific. There's nothing more refreshing when I do talk to parents when they specifically know what their child needs and they know what they want to ask me. A lot of times parents will say, hey, how my child doing? Your child has a B. Like, your child is doing okay. Your child has a B. Like, but it's a difference, like, especially like with me, with my kindergartner and my first grader, like, when I have the opportunity to talk with their teacher, I'll say, hey, I know you guys have been working on the 7 continents. Is it just, does she just need to know the 7 continents, or do I need to work with her being able to identify them on a map? Like, when you can really engage a conversation, that way you can better assist your child from home. So definitely monitor those grades write down specific questions that you may have and contact the teacher, or when the teacher contacts you, be able to express those like immediate concerns that you saw from sitting down and conversing with your child. Okay, so I hope that these five tips were helpful to parents out there. It's very, very easy to just go day by day winging it, right? But again, children thrive, students thrive when there is organization, when there is structure, and when there is routine. And so we need to make sure that that routine is not just from inside of the digital classroom, but that structure and routine should also be inside of the home. So if anyone has any questions about the 5 tips that I expressed for parents, or maybe you have 5 questions just connected to virtual teaching, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I do want to share that I teach every day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, live using Microsoft Teams. I use Google Meet for my small groups only, and we house all assignments in Google Classroom. Now, I will say this week I was very successful with collaborating with my students in Kami. So I am like, if I could be an ambassador for Kami, I would be. Like it's phenomenal. My students were automatically drawn to using it. I got my my student engagement went from here, which is like 20, to like literally 70%. I had students like yelling over each other, like, can I do number 5? Can I do number 8? Can I do number 10? So we'll definitely be using Kami in the future. If you're not sure what Kami is, it's literally a Chrome extension that you can add to your computer, and it syncs with Google Classroom as well as Canvas and Schoology. And it's just a way for students to be able to manipulate PDFs. And just like in Google, right, you can put many people on one, or share a link and then everybody go to one. But the features in Kami are like second to none. I just personally feel that way. And they're super, super easy to navigate. I feel like they're more child friendly. We have to remember that some of the virtual tools that we're using right now for instruction were not necessarily created for instruction, especially on the elementary level. So again, I would definitely recommend Kami as a student-friendly early childhood digital resource. That is a lot, but that is definitely what I would say about that. And so before I wrap up, I'm just going to go over some things that I do to help support my parents. Like I said last week, I do create a weekly newsletter. I call it Math at a Glance, where I share the learning objective. I highlight my students of the month. I choose a mathematician from each homeroom every month based off of leadership, teamwork, dojo points, class attendance, and work ethic. So I like to put them on the newsletter all month just to highlight them and make them feel special. And then I also, on the back of it, well, on the front underneath the learning objective, I usually will put any type of news from the school or my grade level. On the back is where I put homework for each night, along with student pass codes and usernames and URLs. That's something that I like to do because, again, I think it's great when parents can come home. They can say, what were you supposed to do for Monday? Did you do it? Awesome. As well as, I don't want people telling me they can't do the assignment because they don't know the URL for some reason, or they can't remember their username and password. So I just put it on the back of my weekly newsletter. I also have a Google site. So that's like my website for my class, where I literally put every recorded lesson. So I record myself every period and I choose the best recording and I post it by 3 o'clock so that my students can review the lesson if need be before they do their assignments. This is also wonderful for parents. You know, a lot of parents say, I don't understand this new math. Well, instead of doing like, I used to do parent night where I would literally have parents come to the school and I would show them how to do the strategies and how they can work with the students. Just make it like really fun and engaging. I wouldn't get a big turnout, but for the parents that would come, they found it extremely helpful that I took the time to show them how to help their child with any strategy we were doing in ELA, because at the time I was doing ELA. But again, I highly recommend the recorded lessons to my parents so that they can also see what their child is learning. So that's another resource that I like to provide to them. And then of course I have my Google Voice number, which is how parents usually like text me or call, but they know during instruction I do not answer. So I try to make myself as accessible as possible, but I also have my boundaries for my sanity because I do believe in work-life balance. And it is week 6 for me coming up, and I can honestly say that I feel like both my parents and my students, they get me. They understand me. They know Miss Mike is not going to answer after a certain time. They know that Miss Mike is very detailed. So I think they've gotten to the habit of really looking at the resources before they ask me a question, because I am that teacher to say, did you use the link? Did you watch the tutorial? Did you download the PDF? There's no sense in me repeating what I've already provided. So since I don't repeat what I provided, I think they now know like it's probably somewhere in Google Classroom. We better find it because Ms. Mike is not going to tell us. But that's about it, guys. Very short and to the point. I hope this video has been helpful. I am going to upload a lesson plan video onto YouTube. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, it is Step with Monet, I believe, on YouTube, but I'll probably put the link in my bio. I know that lesson planning is something that has definitely helped me with just mapping out instruction and staying on top of what I'm doing as in regards to organization. And so it took me a minute literally to create the template that worked best for me. But I do want to share that with you this week. So you will be able to find that on YouTube, as well as I am going to upload just a quick tour of my Google site. A lot of you have been asking me like to share it, to see what it looks like. How do I organize it? What does my tutorial page look like? And so I'm definitely going to be putting that up soon. So thank you for watching today. I don't think I have any questions. Nope, I don't have any questions, but as always, should you watch this later and have something you want to say or add, feel free to put it in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys next Sunday at 5 p.m. Have a great week. Bye.